Hello, welcome to Killing Time. This is the show that searches for entertainment that does not suck. My name is Ayaz Akhtar. With me, as always, is the guy you can find him at the barbecue eating corn on the cob. He's only been hit by a car once, but it was not a sob. That's right, it's just Bob. How's it going?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm very good. See, I'm so smiley about my not screwing that up because
Yes.
I had to ask you last week which car hit you, and it was not a sob. I'm not making that up, by the way. You've been hit by a car once.
Yes.
While
While running, and it was an Audi.
in the state of Connecticut.
Yes.
This man was clipped by a vehicle. So
Yeah. Near a condo that you owned.
that's true. Many years ago. So that's absolutely true. And so he won't... Well, let's talk about ballers and let's compare it to getting hit by a car. Shall we?
Okay, sounds good. So we have the first episode of Ballers. I believe it's season 4 we're now on.
Yep.
And it starts out with a time jump. I'm not entirely sure if it was a 1-year or a 2-year time jump. But we know we've gone forward a bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're picking up with Spence and Joe kind of going out to L.A. For a possible business deal. And it looks like we're going to end up this season in L.A. the whole time, is how it ends up. We got some new characters. Looks like we're getting more into extreme sports. And this is all just the first episode.
Yeah.
So
The first episode is... Sorry, you were going to say.
I was just going to say, this could go anywhere from here. And I don't know if it's going to be more of the same or if they're actually going to do something a little different this season.
It kind of felt like a soft reboot when I was seeing this because they moved the show from Miami. A lot of it takes place in Miami in the previous seasons, and there's discussions about Oakland. There's all kinds of things going on. But this episode, or this season, appears to be set in SoCal. And at the very end of the episode, Spencer, we find out, has some history in the location, so he does not want to be there. He's got a bad association with it. So he still wants to stay there to help Joe make a deal with what appears to be Russell Brand playing Russell Brand again.
It's all he does. He doesn't know how to play anything else.
Yeah, so I took tons of notes on this thing, and I have my recap on this because, it's kind of slow, all right? Like the preview you guys are seeing now.
Which is surprising for a half-an-hour show. The preview that you're seeing now is showing a lot more than just the first episode.
Yeah, there's not a heck of a lot that happens in the first episode.
No.
We've got everyone having a goodbye dinner. And then a couple of guys going to L.A. And then eventually 1 month later we have Spencer and Joe in L.A. as well. And you've got Ricky in his pseudo-retirement. And you've got Charles as a new GM of Los Angeles, the Rams, trying to figure out how to be a good boss and not to be hated by everybody. And immediately you can tell that his boss, who's the actor's name escapes me, but he always plays the bad guy in everything. He's going to be a badass. But... yeah. We also see Spence trying to work a deal out with Sports X. That's this extreme sports, think like the X Games kind of thing. Are they an agency? Do they make the clothing? I can't remember exactly what they do at Sports X.
I think they do a lot of the marketing, promotion, things like that, because they were saying they were making these videos for people and things like that, is what it seems like. And there's one thing you forgot. It appears Spence and Joe are doing really well for themselves.
Yeah, because they're building on their... they were going to go with that football team thing, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to do that now. Which I thought they kind of glossed over that pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's how last season ended, and then this season we get up, and it looks like they're back to doing the financing thing, and they're killing it.
Yeah, so we've also got a cameo by... I had to look it up. A Defensive Player of the Year, Calais Campbell? I don't know him, but he actually was playing himself. They actually they call him Defensive Player of the Year, so I had to look it up. And I'm like, okay, he must be there. And that was the name I saw in the credits. But when we get introduced to the Russell Brand character, he's supposed to be this kind of like free spirit guy, and he's going to help be a client, I guess, or work with Spencer's group. And you can tell right away, like there's going to be a long-term villain turn in that. And it just seems like it's so obvious. And I'm kind of... Not that I need everything to be Westworld, where I'm basically getting a mind freak every week, right? But
you'd like to not know exactly how the season's going to go after the first episode.
Well, you can tell right away what's going on there. You've also got the subplot of Spencer being nominated for the Hall of Fame for football. So that's a nice little thing.
They can really string that out for almost a whole season because there's a long period of time between nomination and, voting and acceptance.
And there's tons of politics involved on top of that.
Yeah.
And speaking of politics, before we go further into that, let's thank our patrons. These folks at patreon.com/IAS have pledged so much to this show, so thank you for supporting this program. Joe, Michelle, Paul, Alan, and Radford, thank you so much. Folks, if you are a patron already, can you do me a favor and go check your payment options? Some of them seem to be bouncing, but if you're not watching the show at this point and you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's cool. We really do appreciate everything you guys have done. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/IAS, and you could become a video producer and have your name in lights here, or you could just get a call from one of us or get a thank you on the site. So let me know by going to patreon.com/IAS. If you think, hey, that's the stupidest idea ever, go to Twitter and let me know. I'm at IAS, and we can discuss things at that time. So thanks again to everybody for supporting the show and watching. Back to the politics of this show. How did you feel about the previous season?
I didn't love the previous season, but I liked that they were trying to do something different with the buying of a football team, moving of a football team, and all that, and them trying to work these deals and get everything together. And The Rock is always fun to watch, which is why I keep watching this show. I can literally watch anything he's in. I actually watched Skyscraper because he was in it.
Okay, better or worse, Skyscraper or the first episode of Ballers, Season 4, Episode 1?
Ballers.
Okay. Better or worse, getting hit by a car or Ballers, Season 4, Episode 1?
Ballers. Little bit.
Better or worse, Skyscraper or getting hit by a car?
Getting hit by the car.
There you go. Now, that's a new standard right there. I don't have an animation for that.
Yeah.
It's just like... I must get on that. If you guys are any good with the animation, feel free to make a flying bob.
We need to start making that a bar. The bar of what something really bad has to pass. Is it better than getting hit by a car?
Yeah, but what's lower than that? Is Batman v Superman lower than that, or is that just my own personal...
No, it is. It is. It's below that. Yeah. I couldn't be... If I'm flipping through stations and that's on, I never stop. I don't even pause. I immediately keep going.
I will watch to see Batman scurrying on the ceiling, and when he does murder everybody. But,
once that scene's passed, it's all done. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the rest of it's just like... Anyway, we're not turning this into that.
Yeah, we were talking about
The Rock. We were talking about Black Adam in the future because he's going to be in the DCEU, if that works out. But yeah, we've got all the characters being established in this episode. We've got a new location. We've got new, what appears to be antagonists, some old antagonists.
Let me ask you this. You've seen the first episode. We obviously didn't love the first episode, if everybody can't tell that. Do you think the season's going to be any better than last season?
Yeah, I think so, because the storylines, I think, could be a little bit easier to swallow. I will say all of the discussions about moving a team in the NFL had all the interest of watching, like, the 6th round of the NFL draft. It's like, good God. I understand that it's mired in such heated business relationships, and there's stadium owners, and then there's government agencies, and then there's the league itself. But it was like the episode 1 of Star Wars. It's like, okay, the politics are real. We get that.
Yeah.
But I liked watching the show because we had athletes doing crazy shit, and they were bad with their money. That was
what the first season was all about, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, because there's a learning curve with that. And you got to see how people adjust to that. And Spencer also had concussion issues. That I don't know what happened to those. They seem to have disappeared.
Those went away. And then the hip issues, too.
Yes, his medical issues. Life after the NFL, and potentially while you are responsible for other people's money, if you have any brain damage whatsoever, you might not be making the best decisions. And so far, we've seen Spencer Swarthmore be unbelievably intelligent at times. But I'm not saying he should be stupid. But I would like to see some occasions where the impact of the game affects him. They've kind of moved that to Ricky at this point. He's got some post-concussive syndrome issues, and that's very important. I think this episode glosses over it a lot because last season he just shows up at somebody else's house and smacks a kid.
Right, because he's clueless. Yeah.
Yeah.
This season, he's had a whole year off from the game, so we know that maybe he's in a better place physically.
Yeah, because this child's a little older. Actually exists, I think. I don't think the child existed last season. I think the child was going to be born. I will say his method of determining which house should be his.
Was very interesting.
On board with that. Great idea.
Yep. I like it.
Do you know what we're talking about? Watch the episode. Oh, by the way, if you watch the episode or watch the first scene of Insecure, don't watch it at work. Okay? That's just a tip from me to you guys, because I mean, actually, I don't know what you do for a living, other people, but if you're in most office environments, you probably shouldn't be watching this at your desk. Because I fired up Insecure, in the first 3 seconds, I'm like, oh, I can't have this on right now. So, anyway, I think that we're going to have a nice, long, soft story with Charles over the season. Like, he's adjusting, and how is he going to be the GM, and how is he going to handle the pressure, and how is he going to handle his twitchy assistant. We got his story. Ricky, obviously, like, playing double sides here with his baby's mama, not wife, because she even calls him out on that, about whether he's retired or not. So we've got that for the rest of the season. And we've got Spencer dealing with Los Angeles. So, and potential...
And the demons he has there. They're trying to more develop his character and give you some backstory to him, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's admirable. Like I said, I think soft reboot is I think that's what we're seeing here. Because if you didn't like season 3, it doesn't seem like we're getting that. We had a very small cameo from Candace, the ball-busting NFL person from last season. Maybe not ball-busting. She was more like...
She might be in it more. When we start getting into the politics of the Hall of Fame thing, we might see more of her.
She would just destroy anybody. So I don't think... Maybe she's more like a wood chipper. Just a nightmare to deal with in general. Always putting Spencer in his place, which I thought was... That's good to see every now and then, because you have this larger-than-life character, or the actor anyway, and to see him get shut down and be moved around so quickly and easily, that's nice to see every now and then. But that's me saying like the most positive things about season 3 in about a sentence or two, which is not saying much. Although, I will say this about episode 1. Awesome shot of Rock's new cover-up tattoo. That thing is freaking... I think it's huge.
Yes.
He used to have a little Brahma bull, and now he's got this massive cow skull.
Yeah.
So... If you ever wanted to see that thing in not a picture there, you can see it in motion. That's what episode 1's good for. Otherwise...
Yeah. And he's still in pretty good shape.
Go figure.
Yeah, I mean,
He does that.
Yeah,
and with that...
He looks like he takes pretty good care of himself.
Okay, so we got that. We've got some screeners to watch about certain things we can't talk about yet.
Right.
Looking forward to that. We're going to be on...
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Yes. We've got a couple things there. So... Stay tuned. We're going to have stuff at the ready for certain very, very big shows. It's going to be fun. So we got that. Maybe we'll talk about Insecure some other time, but you haven't seen that. I've seen it. It's a good show. I think Insecure was a better episode compared to Ballers, because Insecure is still on its way up, and Ballers is trying to figure out its way around. So with that, I think if you're going to watch Ballers, wait for like 2 to 3 weeks, and maybe it's worth watching.
Give it some time. We'll mention a follow-up in a couple weeks to let you know if it got any better.
But yeah, I'm just curious if that show works better on a binge. Because
it might. Because in the past I've done binging. I've waited most of the season and then gone back and just powered through it.
All right, and with that, we will see everybody next time. Remember, you can get the podcast version of the show at killingtime.tv. And if I haven't put it up yet, you should say, hey Ayaz, at Ayaz on Twitter. Put the freaking episode up. All right, thanks.